Well, hello from Bonnie, Scotland. I'm out here on my daily stroke bi-daily run. Thought it was a good opportunity to start to look at some basic things that you can do to improve your photography when you're out on the run. Now, number one, seems really basic. Make sure your lens is clean. The number of times that you look at your lens, go and look at it. There's usually a finger mark on it, a smudge, a little bit of sweat, dirt. And you know, that can ruin a good image. So rule number one, check your lens is clean. Rule number two, the old saying, the best camera is the one that you have with you. So in running that can be tricky. You've got it in your pocket, in your hand, but over time, especially in a longer run, your hand can start to cramp, and it's just not a good way to do it. My solution is using a quad lock. I use a quad lock running armband. I've been using it for years. Just a general note, I worked for Quad Lock. I was probably one of the first people to ever wear one, and I love it. I'm not just saying it because, you know, I've got affiliation with these guys. It just works for me, and it has done for, I don't know how many years, a lot. So some way of having your phone easily accessible is so important. So let's get down to the photography side of it. So for this example, I'm going to be using my phone. We'll look through, I'll be videoing my view, and I'll be giving you a few extra pointers along the way. Okay. The next concept we're going to talk about is foreground, middle ground and background. So at the moment I'm in the foreground, got the middle ground, you've got these bushes, and background obviously you've got the landscape there. So with trail photography, it's really important, if you want an interesting picture, is to include all of those elements, which is tricky when you're hand holding. But let's have a look at an example of a few pictures. Okay, I'll just find a spot and I'll take a picture without foreground and with, and you can start to see that dimension sort of pop out a bit more. So if we look here, we've got a lot of background, but not really any foreground. But if you just come down, this is a big rule, you know, the lower you get to the ground, the more foreground you bring in. But you know, once you get in there and you can start to get a bit more of those plants in there. Now they're just small, but you're starting to get a more dynamic picture there. You know, and also I use the crosses, the 3 horizontal and 3 vertical lines that you can get on most phones to kind of help as a guide to framing your shot. So I highly recommend you playing with that, and again you can do that in portrait mode as well. So let's take a few shots and have a look at that. So throughout my years of taking pictures of trail runners and outdoor landscapes, it's become pretty aware that as humans we really enjoy looking at a picture with other humans in it. So perspective is a really important thing when it comes to trail photography, putting a subject in the picture. Now the problem with that is when you run on your own, which I do very often, I'm not carrying a tripod, I've got my phone, that's the only camera I have. So how can I get perspective? You know, that's as far as I can hold my camera. So the next step is to start to MacGyver some tripod alternatives. So let's have a look at that. One other thing to note in regards to perspective is you need the time to be able to get into shot. So the timer on your phone as an individual runner to get some nice trail photography is so important. So work out how you can put your timer on. And I have in the past been able to run quite far to try and capture a shot on the run. So something to try out. Okay, so I've had a look at a spot that I could take a little shot to as an example. I've set my timer to 10 seconds and I've found my tripod. Now the humble stick is an excellent tripod. Now rule, do not pull these off trees, just look for ones that are on the ground. And now you're just looking for somewhere appropriate to place it in. Tree stumps, fence posts, into the ground, anywhere that's safe but you're not causing damage. Place that stick into the edge of that tree stump, and I'm going to lay my phone there facing forward to capture the shot. So let's have a look. So hopefully you can see by those two pictures that the selfie version isn't very dynamic, isn't very interesting, but the timer one, even though I was playing around, you can see it really gives you that sort of movement and puts the runner in place. Obviously this is 1,000 times easier if you've got another runner with you. You can get them to be perfectly in position, you can capture some really great photos. So another element of perspective is where you're taking the shot from. Is it up high? Is it kind of eye height? Is it down below? So obviously up eye height is your traditional face-to-face. Up high you can really get a sense of depth of field and probably make us the main image a little bit smaller. And then you've got right down at the bottom, so right down on the ground, and actually that makes the main image pop up, be big, be strong, be a big part of the image. So let's show an example of that. So this would be a face-on shot, and then down here I've got my faithful tripod. And we're going to put the timer on again for 10 seconds and take a shot from this angle. The whole idea of this video was to give you an introduction to a few easy things that you can do to improve your photography while out trail running. The idea here is to build a catalogue of images that showcase the beauty and the fragility of nature that we all walk, hike and run upon. Full course trails, that's kind of part of my ethos. So I've been doing photography, filmmaking for about 5 years for trail running and outdoor events. I'm really passionate about this. And I started just with my mobile phone and my quad lock, and from there it grew into a business. And so from here we can grow with the education of this. We can start to look at a DSLR and a mirrorless camera set up for trail running. And also I'm a drone pilot as well, so we can start to look at how you'd incorporate a drone and the uses for that in trail running as well. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. Is it something you're interested in? Did this add value to you? Because that's what it's all about. Our time is very precious, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. So I hope you got something out of it. Let me know, and until next time, take care of yourself, and all the best from Bonnie, Scotland.